How you doing?
Well, listen, you've been terrific. One of the big questions for a player like you, who's an offensive player, going to be a bona fide, strong offensive player in the league, is every once in a while you have a clunker. And I saw you in a clunker game where it just didn't work all night long. And one of the things that I'd like to convey to you is how do you come back from that emotionally and mentally?
One thing that I've learned for being in the NBA is it's 82 games. So no matter how good you play one night or how bad you play, all that matters is if you win, and then you usually play the next day or the day after that. So you got to move on to the next game. And that makes it a little bit easier, where in college, if you had a bad game, you had 5 or 6 days in between to think about it. So that could be a little tougher. But now that you're in the NBA, you got 82 games, so the next one's coming like that. So you kind of get your mind off of it.
Well, I brought this up because I've seen you have one of those, and I want to relate my own personal story. I can remember playing in up in Syracuse, New York, and I missed 5 uncontested layups in this game. All right? And I was beside myself. And the next night we played at Madison Square Garden against the Knicks. And I was making baskets, laying on the floor, shooting hook shots from half court. So the whole thing changes dramatically if you just have the same attitude you were talking about.
I heard you were on the first ever Celtics NBA Championship team.
Right.
What was that experience like?
Well, the final game was a 7th game, and it was a double overtime. And it was the first and only double overtime final 7th game of a playoff. Bill Russell and I were rookies. And the more famous players were Bob Cousy and Bill Sharman, who were Hall of Fame backcourt people. And both of them had terrible games. There was something like 4 for 40. Couldn't buy a basket. They were so anxious to win the title after going for several years not winning it. And I had a great game. I had 37 points. It was terrific that we won it. The funny part about it was there were no parades then. All right, no parades whatsoever. What happened is they allowed us to be in a motorcade during the Boston Marathon. And we got a chance to ride in a car for the marathon runners before they ran. All the people lined up. And we got to the Lenox Hotel, which was right at the end of the finish line. And that was it.
Who was the best player you played against? Because I figured Bill Russell probably was the best player you played with. So who was the best player you played against?
Well, Wilt. But Wilt played, that was Russell's problem. He had to deal with Wilt. The best players I played against were Bob Pettit and Elgin Baylor. Both of them were, Elgin Baylor was the first real high flyer. He'd get into the paint and overpower people, but he didn't have an outside shot.
Right.
So they kind of were able to handle him for the first year a little bit. But then he developed an outside shot, and boy, I'll tell you, he was a load. Who's the toughest guy for you to play?
I would probably say LeBron.
Oh.
Just because that playoff series we had, my rookie year in the Eastern Conference Finals, going 7 games and playing him 7 times in a row, you really get to appreciate what he means.
That is a novel experience, playing against a guy 7 times.
It really is.
Yeah.
It really is. What does it mean for you to, be a part of the Boston Celtics and the tradition?
What it meant to me was I had so much fun. I was doing something I love to do. And if you're a person who enjoys what you're doing, life is fun. It's not working. And the people, when you're with a group of people that know how to win, it's really fun because everybody's involved with the effort and the result, not their own personal gain. You guys, from what I can see, have that same attitude where you're going out there and whatever, we're going to do whatever is necessary to get done. So this organization, has it influenced you at all?
It definitely has. I've learned so much about the Celtics that I didn't previously know before I got here, and my appreciation for guys like yourself, Bill Russell and Paul and all the guys before me, just coming in here to work every day to see the banners, and you feel the energy, the atmosphere, the fans are the best, and it's not like that in every city we go to. We truly have the best fans, and it really is a sense of pride, putting that jersey on every night, and couldn't be happier being there.
Well, it's both a blessing and a curse. All right, I mean it's a blessing that you are picked to be in this organization because of the history. They think you can fit in, but then the curse is you got to deliver, right? I think personally, I think you're going to be an all-star player for a long, long time. You have the scorer's mentality. Put it aside. I'm making it, I'm missing it, I'm shooting. That's what I am. And that's a great asset. Anytime you want to bounce something off of me, feel free to do it.
Will do. Thank you.
My pleasure. Good to see you, and I wish you the best.
Appreciate that.